All right. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Today, Shay is going to present on basically Windows basics. Oh, you cannot see my screen?
No.
But if you go on GitHub, you should see that there are a couple of things up on Lab 2, so make sure you log in there. We'll talk a little bit about basically generating an incident report, as well as a couple of things about Windows, what services to look up and see what's running. But let's go ahead and get started about talking about Windows. So, Shay, if you'll take it away. Sorry for people looking online. Oh, that looks terrible. Go ahead.
Do you have the PowerPoint on your computer?
Yeah, okay, we can do that.
We can do that.
Really, your computer's already up.
We had to configure GitHub for class?
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
for this class, you could probably just download and use the actual web interface, but
We've never were given the thing for GitHub for it.
Really?
The link, yeah.
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
this
beautiful.
class, no.
That's
Or-
hilarious.
You're like,
For data
"Oh,
structures,
God,
yeah.
make
For
your
scripting,
laptop."
sure. Not for
Yeah,
this.
for my other class, yeah.
I was
Are you
wondering
serious?
how we were going to do that for
Yeah.
a while. So, we'll have to do that, too.
Just start the presentation.
So, this is Windows with a focus on competitions, not what you should do if you show up at a job and that's what you're supposed to be doing. But basically, you should run through all these things in this order as soon as you get there. We always thought that passwords was the most important, use of passwords, but now it really is updates, because most of the times when they get in, they don't want to take the time to sit there and try and crack a password if they can just log in directly using an exploit. So update, make sure that everything is how it should be. We'll talk about that more in a minute. So this is just a checklist. If you get through all of these in the first hour or so, you should be fine. It should cover pretty much everything, and then you can deal with the incidents as they happen. Updates, that's, just use Windows Update. There is something that could be more advanced that you might have to do where they haven't done this since because no one knew how to do it, but you have to tell Windows to point at their update server. But I'm not going to go into that because it's very rare. You can Google it. They let you Google things at competitions. So,
Yes, it is.
checking users on Windows is a lot easier than on Linux. But I just put the pictures up there anyways. You go to Manage Accounts in Control Panel. It'll show you all of them. Obviously, if there's John Doe or I don't know, Elite Hacksaw or something on there, you might want to disable it. Usually, if you disable them at competitions, it's fine. They'll be like, hey, this is our admin one so that we can check how you're doing. Don't touch it. As long as you leave that one alone, you can probably disable other users unless you hear otherwise. But the best motto is disable it until they get mad at you. So,
But never delete it.
In other words,
Don't do
act
it.
first. It's easier
Yeah.
to ask for forgiveness than permission.
it
Yeah.
is.
Never ask for permission. In this instance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we do that at my work too. We just.
Well, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's almost all computer science.
Yeah.
Yep. Password strengths. You don't have to do this with individual users. All you have to do is set the complexity requirements in the security policy, and it will force everyone to update their passwords if it's not strong enough yet.
Okay, is there any way to automatically disable accounts that don't have a strong enough password?
It won't let you log in until you change the password.
Yeah, but let's say that there was lead hacksaw, but they called himself Mario,
Yeah.
and his password was Mario, and you enable, hey, look, let's get better password policy. Is there any way you can disable that old account? Because obviously, they shouldn't, because the hacker could crack it and log in and say, oh, I'm going to change my password, right?
Yeah, I got you. Not that I know of right offhand. Generally, there isn't even really a way to check. Like, they don't want you to get any information about passwords, so they don't really let you see how complex their password is.
Well, if they're stored correctly, then
Yeah.
you're not
Well,
going to
yeah, you'd have to hack your own system,
Right.
basically, to get that information.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
no. So that can be tricky, but
Yeah, I was wondering if Windows stored what the password policy was when a user password was created, because that's not super. I don't think that's giving anything away. That's just telling you what it was, and then you can disable accordingly.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how all of that works.
So there's no audit trail or something like that?
There's audit trails, but not necessarily that will do it automatically.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
Easiest thing to do is disable every user except the ones that you've heard of. Because generally...
And then manually change those passwords.
Yeah.
And so you guys are talking about like our passwords and like the user passwords.
So yeah, when you go into these competitions, you're gonna go on a box you've never touched before in your entire life, and you're gonna go in, you're gonna look, and you'll see all these users on there, and you got to decide, which users are valid and which ones you should disable.
Disable all of them.
Disable all of them. Yeah, it's really a whitelist is the way you want to think about it. Disable everyone unless there's a reason to keep them. Is really the best way to go about it.
Like if it's an administrator.
Right.
Well, and that's the other side of it is if they aren't administrator or in Linux root, it's not as big of a risk. A hacker gets in there, they can do some things, but not like. Basically, they're confined to their own account. So
it can still be bad because if they're the user that manipulates the web server.
That's true, but theoretically, everything should be under administrator if you're running the server right. So.
Under okay.
Yeah.
Linux will distribute out the requirements or the.
Well, Windows, the only one that starts up by default is
against the
admin.
stupidity of man.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the whole point. Is you show up and the last team got fired. Because they were so bad at it. So you're showing up and you're getting a really bad machine that you have to harden. And that's the whole point. But as far as, what users to disable and everything, they'll have the packet that they give you should have a list of required users and then like their general policy on disabling other users. So that'll basically tell you. So running services. You can do this via Task Manager, but this is quicker. It's really hard to see. But basically, you run netstat, and that tells you what ports are being used and by what services. Well, it tells you the IDs. And then you go into task list and use that command, replacing the hashtags with the PIDs. Which I can show you on the server in a second.
Okay.
And then that will return the name of the service. Or you can open Task Manager and look for the PID. But this is handy because it shows you what ports are used, like in use, and you can compare this with your firewall and be like, okay, there's way too many things open.
Sure.
So, and these are only services that use internet ports. Otherwise, go to Server Manager, and it has a list of what is running, and you can see if there's anything fishy.
Is there any way
in
you
there.
can show them this while you're talking about it?
Yes, I'm about to do that.
Okay, great.
I can go over to the actual server we'll be doing this on. Oh, this is the group policy editor is something you'll need to become familiar with. This enables you to do things not only like remote desktop, but also like change, update policies and things like that.
Is it most
How do they get there?
Accessible if you're an administrator though?
Yes,
So you get
but
there
you'll
by
be under administrator.
Group policy manager? Okay.
Yeah, group policy management. If you just search group or policy, either shows up. If you really want to, you can change this in the registry, but
Yeah, it's never goes to the registry.
yeah. Well,
You don't want to risk destroying something.
so if we want to find out what all's running on here, is netstat -A&O. And yeah, that shows you everything. Like I said, these are the PIDs. States don't really matter. Generally, if anything's under IPv6, it's not that big a deal. UDP in general is not a very big deal with these competitions, but TCP especially. I mean, 80 is obviously web server, so it's all, you know, you just look up the PID. I think it's, what was it, task list / let me look at my slides actually, save time. SVC FI.
Service of
Yeah.
PID equals. Yep.
All right. I don't do this often. SV. Oh no.
That was it. PID space EQ space and then the number.
Yeah.
Okay, just copy and paste it.
It's going from a web from
Oh.
PowerPoint to a remote desktop, so it's not
It's
even quite
PL.
Okay.
It's PI. Lowercase then.
I thought it was FI.
Is it F?
This would be so much easier.
It is
to
F.
It's F.
copy
Alright.
paste.
I know everyone on the internet can see that clearly.
I'm sitting right here and I cannot see that
Alright.
clearly.
So it won't find 4, but it will find. Which one did I do?
Oh, it's a system one. Okay, great.
Yeah, so this one has a lot using the same thing. Service host is normally fine. You don't need to worry about anything that's running under that, unless you have a rootkit, but there's nothing you can do about that, and you won't run into that at these competitions, because there's nothing you can do about it. So, yeah, that's pretty standard. I don't really think... we didn't come across a whole lot of services running that were iffy. We came across hardware things, but not like they had a Raspberry Pi under the table that was hacking us. But
All right, so that's how they get
Yeah.
a list of what's working on what ports, and then
Yep.
find out what task it is, and then you go to Task Manager and close it out.
yep.
Oh wow, I can see the slides from here. That'd be great.
And then of course you go to the firewall. It's GUI. Has everyone used the Windows firewall?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
I actually never have.
Do you want to see it?
Sure.
All right.
Depends on what you mean by use it. And by enabling it, yes, I have.
It's not IP tables.
Thankfully, no.
Actually, using it, not so much.
So, first of all, this is annoying. This is different than with advanced security. With advanced security, actually lets you change ports. This just lets you enable and disable it, because they don't want normal users to go in there and accidentally block their whole
Got it.
setup. But
Yeah, I'll do that.
there's a lot of reasons for it, because you can
Yeah, I
give
believe it.
different levels of permissions access to which one you want to give them access to.
Yeah.
So, anyways, pretty simple. This is all of the ports. A lot of them use programs instead of specific ports, but generally you can look up the program or service name that you just found and then disable them. There's a lot of settings that, they're not going to expect you to go through and look at all these things and be like, okay,
So you can right click on the setting and do something with it. Oh, there we go. Cut
disable the
properties.
properties.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All
So
Oh, I know how to do that, just never have to use it.
yeah.
Block everything but what's needed.
It's kind of like going to the task manager and on disabling the process you don't need. Because
So
you exit out something that doesn't set to exit out.
So if you want to add a new rule, you just go to, add new rule, and then you can choose any of these. Generally, you'll be deleting rules, but regardless, I prefer ports. In Linux, it's pretty much all ports, right?
What
You
else
don't-
would it be? Right.
Yeah, you don't do programs. Programs is nice because it does all the ports at once that it needs, and it only is open when the program's running. So
I
that's
just
nice.
put deny all and then only accept certain ports.
That's what you normally do, but you can't with Windows as much
oh,
because it's not.
Shade.
Like I said, I prefer anything but Windows now.
Deny everyone except.
Linux is calling your name, my friend.
Yeah, it's just a different way of going about it.
It
That's
is.
cool.
I prefer
It's
Linux.
cool you can do it by program. That's actually can be
It-
handy.
Yeah, and you can do that on Linux, but you have to install extra stuff. I
I'm not
think.
doing that.
Yeah. But anyways, like I said, TCP is the general. UDP, I don't know if anyone knows the difference, but TCP is like sporadic connections. UDP is just like a tunnel that keeps open for games and that kind of stuff.
So the difference is TCP guarantees packet ordering and reliability of your connection, while UDP doesn't. So
DDoS
well-
with UDP.
UDP, it just sends a packet. It never acknowledges the packet was received, and it never tries to guarantee any type of ordering to it.
Yeah.
is what happens. But when it comes down to it, it's basically reliability. TCP is reliable. You acknowledge that the packet was received.
What about
UDP,
FTP? Should you disable that?
FTP is something
That's
based on
completely
top of
different,
TCP. So it's a protocol that uses TCP
File
to
transfer
transfer
protocol.
files.
Which was the one that is just vulnerable to hackers?
Telnet.
Yeah, that's the one.
Email.
Telnet. And, well,
Email.
that's one that you need to have.
Unfortunately,
But it,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
completely broken. Yeah, Telnet.
that's what I
Telnet.
was talking about.
I'll show you
So-
Telnet next class.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
disable
you can
Telnet.
tell me.
Really
Before.
interesting.
Show you
So,
Telnet.
I made
yeah.
it a point just to disable Telnet on my computer.
And the lab is basically
I don't need
going through each of these and like just writing a like 1 sentence report on what you found, basically. So like there's one thing in here that should not be there, and it's very obvious. So it's easy.
Completely off.
Not really. I can barely see that.
Wrong thing. No, when you'll be logged in and actually researching this for the lab. But
Sounds like a lot of writing. Anyway.
Yeah. Computer science, I'm not really big on
Well,
writing.
you got to do these reports. I mean, the
Yeah.
competitions do it, and when you're in the workforce, you
Yeah.
got to do it.
I
If-
walked all the way over from that lab, not to write stuff.
I know life is
I
tough.
understand.
And then there's a cafeteria down there. You could buy yourself ice cream afterwards. I know it.
That sounds like working.
That's
But you got to
Yeah.
walk all the way over there.
But that's only if you haven't already had lunch or dinner.
Yeah, I know.
What? Tell me they monitor that too.
Yes, they do. Yes,
that's
they
all the
do.
slides, really.
No, what comes next?
Another quick
It's
list.
not bad.
Just review.
All right.
So,
So hold on. Let me jump over to the last review. So we got update. So run Windows Update. You show them where to run Windows Update. I'm recording the video, so let's make sure everyone knows where that is.
Mine says automatically update.
oh yeah, and
No,
you'll
no.
need
Is there a program? Like, it changes a lot. When I always did it was just update.windows.com, and then that magically did it. But has
that's
it changed?
really old. That's
It was.
like-
Yeah,
that's the way I
really
did it.
old.
That's the way I did it.
It's been Windows Update, just a program.
There's
for
a program.
Quite a while.
Great.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Windows.
And
Check the users.
Windows,
So
You will have to
program.
check the policies, though. In the group
System.
policies, there's also update policies that say, hey, force updates. Like, for instance, if you use Windows 10, I don't know, everyone complains about how you have to do updates and everything, but in the group policy, you can disable that, and it's the
Yeah.
easiest thing in the world. So,
So
Yeah.
check passwords policy, check the service, check the firewall. Okay,
Yep.
great. All right. Do you have a write-up on the lab? Or the lab is do these 5 things?
it's do these 5 things, and I have a template for the
All right. So hold on, let's
Is the lab due today or next week?
oh, next week.